Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. A new tax law in Nigeria, which is expected to take effect from 1st of January 2026, of course, is imposing 5% surcharge on premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, and other chargeable fossil fuel products. This surcharge is in addition to the existing retail price and is collected at the point of supply, sale, or payment. The surcharge is intended to be remitted monthly to the Nigeria Revenue Service. This is part of the component of the new tax law, a Tax Act 2025 signed into law recently by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What is it a good policy? Let's hear what my guest who is joining me in the studio, Mr. Agaba, is an economic analyst. Glad to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
5% surcharge on PMS purchase is part of the component of the new tax law. How do you receive that? Or how do you see that?
I thought I read through the tax reform document when it was on the front burner. I don't recall coming across this particular item. Maybe I didn't read it cover to cover. There's one thing I have said, and I have been very consistent about it. I am having a hard time grasping the thrust, the core focus of this administration's policies. You know, under the previous administration, about the speed at which it moved, you could always understand this is what they say they are doing. One core policy I could understand then is we must produce what we consume and consume what we produce. There was another core policy, we will build Nigeria, but without necessarily sacrificing the poor people. So we know there's some socialist agenda on the go, you know. But for this administration, I've been trying to figure it out. Are we trying to set a very good foundation upon which we can build
like you said,
Nigeria?
it's like we are sacrificing the poor to build Nigeria.
Are we trying to raise revenue and sacrifice the poor people in the process? Are we? It's just everywhere, but not targeted at a vision, as a laser-focused vision, in my opinion. This is my personal opinion. And I'm trying to be as objective as I can. I am not an opposition. I am someone who would want to see our country grow. So when I see a policy in the right direction, I want to support it, even off media, where we talk on the streets, where we gist with friends. I try to convince them and help them understand what the government is doing. But at this crossroad, where energy seems to be the basic foundation for every economy, and for an economy with a large percentage of poor people in the country, I think that we should be very careful in how we try to raise revenue from energy. Now, good enough, we remove subsidy. I don't think we should be adding additional tax to fuel price, because it is so difficult already for Nigerians to go by. Nobody is happy buying fuel at the rate of $8.95 per liter. And by the way, yesterday...
No, it's about $9.55. That's the new NNPC price yesterday.
I got to a filling station and I saw $9.60. So it was later when we were chatting that you sent me that news item. I said, this is why. I think that we should do everything within our power to make sure that energy cost goes down. A further tax on petroleum product, especially PMS, diesel, is going to tell so hard on the Nigerian populace. So many small businesses are already not able to operate in the current situation. And we know how important fuel is, from cost of transportation to cost of generating electricity, and all of this will add into cost of production and cost of operating businesses. And that means the prices of goods and services are still going to go up. And what that does is that it's going to take money away from the hands of people who earn money. It reduces your purchasing power because you can only purchase one unit. And because the money does not go round, because we make more money when money carries out economic activities, move from hand to hand and hand to hand. But when this begin to happen, people begin to cut down on even essential goods and services that they need. Our living standard will sink. Those who are already under the poverty line will sink further. I don't think that we should tax or put another extra burden on the masses in terms of energy. I am using the word energy because I would want for us to keep the cost of electricity as low as we can, the cost of gas as low as we can, the cost of petroleum product, especially PMS and diesel, as low as we can. Even aviation fuel should be as low as we can. These are things we should look at. And I have said, can we run a country without revenue? The answer is no. But are there other viable places from which we can raise revenue without sacrificing the poor? The answer is yes.
Part of what the president said during the campaign was the fact that he was not going to tax more Nigeria. I mean, he was not going to increase tax rates, let's say from 7.5% as it is now, which is an agreement that has been kept.
Yes.
But if you look at the percentage of tax, I mean, if you aggregate all of this put together, it's like it's even more than the 7.5% that we're paying. I mean, talking about the VAT, then you're talking about the large population of Nigerians who are not in the tax net. I think government should have focused on how to bring more people into the tax net, which was part of the promises of this administration.
Thank you very much. And I think over time on this show and my various other public outing, I have said it is better for 100 people to pay 100 naira than for 10 people to pay 1,000 naira each. So what we should do more is to make our tax collection mechanism more efficient. And we should create incentives for people to jump into the tax net. Now, we don't even have such incentives that are very popular. Now, you have small businesses who want to pay tax because maybe they want to apply for some government contract here and there. But even the process of paying tax is too cumbersome. A lot of the small businesses that I've spoken with in the past know that they should pay tax, but the process of paying the tax and getting their tax clearance is what they can't deal. You have a lot of small business. Before you pay your tax, you have to get an auditor to audit your account, and then you can send it to FIRS and all of that, or whatever state IRS that you have, and then they go through it again and all of that and all of that. Why don't we have an office where I just print my account statement, take it there, the people look at it, and you know, as fairly as they can, tell me to pay XYZ. And I go and pay a fair tax. We have other issues like CAC returns, for instance, where a certain group of company, maybe with 1 million share and below all of that, pay 5,000 naira return every month. This return should be something that I can go online on their portal, open my company, click pay my stuff, and I pay. These things are not supposed to be cumbersome because it's a fixed rate. I should be able to just pay it. If there are documents to be brought, then you can just keep a simple form there. I can fill it, attach this document, and then it is approved. Especially I am not paying for the first time. You know, so some of these tax payment processes can be eased.
Tax clearance
can
is also a major
automated, so that people can, from the comfort of their home, upload documents and expect that these things will be processed. You will have more people in the net. 2, we need to have a comprehensive tax collection mechanism that does not involve agberos, that does not involve informal contractors. We must have a payment platform that is automated. We have fintech now making things easy for us. I saw one report that I went through the other time. I saw a state where their local government tax collection agents go about with POS that has been configured to the state accountant. You put your card. If you don't have a card, you pay a guy who has the card and they pay for you and you get your receipts. That way we ensure that all the money goes into the system.
Right.
There's a lot of leakage in the tax system. And, you know, the FCT minister was talking the other day and he was saying, they were asking him about environmental issues where debts are not collected from some place. I said, where is the money? That people are not paying their tenement rent, ground rent and all of that. You see, people have a lot of properties sprawling all over the city, for instance, that they are not using. These houses are not put on rent. They are just there. Some of them harboring criminals, some of them constituting environmental. What are we doing with such high-end properties?
Someone did say some of the high-end property within the city center are unoccupied. Many of them are actually empty.
Exactly.
I mean, wasting away.
So if we were taxing those things, the owners would definitely put them to use. And then it will generate economic value within the system. So what I will rather suggest is to take the pain, because it is easier to say I have 10 people who are already paying. Let me charge them more because I have their detail and I can catch them. Than to say, let me go and get the more than 1,000 people who I have not captured yet. If we bring very good incentives to do these things, we are already charging some things on e-transfer. We are paying stamp duty. At the end of the day,
USSD duty as charges as well.
Exactly.
Which is now being taken from the airtime.
Yes. And the way they even do it, once you attempt that first stage and they tell you are going to be charged with this and you click yes, they take their money.
Exactly.
Even if the transaction fails in the process, none of your fault. That money is taken.
It's taken, absolutely.
Nobody is going. So I think that we should be a bit careful how we pile more taxes, especially the one that affects the ordinary Nigerians.
What is even more worrisome is the fact that government claimed that it has saved about about $600 million monthly. And allocation to state have increased by 40% annually since 2023 when this government came on board. If indeed they have done this since they came on board and took out subsidy, why are they inflicting more taxes on Nigerians?
Exactly. Now, I will tell you why. We devalued the naira, no matter the technical term you want to use, whether you float it or whatever. 1 naira, the dollar is the global, currency to which we compare other countries' currencies' strength. Before this administration came in, the general public had the official exchange rate at 416 naira to a dollar. Although in the parallel market, it could be different, 600, whatever it is that you are able to access. Then we floated the naira, and the naira started nosediving. We got close to 2,000 to a dollar.
We even got to 2,000 sometimes.
Before we got back to where we are, a bit stabilized. I'm hearing from unconfirmed region that we have gone back to backing the naira again. I don't know how true that is.
So it's still an unconfirmed. I've also heard that as well, that we're defending the naira with some dollars, but we are not, it's still an unconfirmed story.
So
yes.
At the end of the day, we have saved money, but we have devalued the money. So it's more or less like you said to me, son, I'm going to increase your allowance by 200%. So instead of giving me 10,000, you start giving me 30,000. Okay, but now 1,000 could buy a plate of food before. Now I buy a plate of food for 4,000 naira. That's 300% decrease in the value.
Yeah,
good,
correct.
Now it means therefore that the 10,000 you were giving me before in the previous economy is more valuable than the 30,000 you are giving me now.
Correct.
So this is what has happened.
I think that
so we have more money but less value.
Less value. But that's
and
the
do
reality.
You know why that is also very significant? Because we are import dependent. Because somebody will say, yes, naira went down. Are we spending in dollar No, sir, we are not spending in dollar, but almost everything we need to do what we do comes in dollar. So something that could buy maybe one full length of a particular millimeter of iron rod before will not be able to buy that now.
Absolutely. But the issue is this, but this is a question that many people, especially those in government, try to shy away from. Like we say that the allocation to states have increased by 40%. But what is the value
of the
in terms of value
of the total
allocation? Now you're saying that the FAC allocation is now close to 2 trillion naira per month. As the last one was 1.71 trillion naira or thereabout, around that region. But now this money has increased. Maybe state that was collecting 3 or 4 billion before, now collecting 8 or 7 billion naira every month. But if you look at the value in terms of value, because I recall when I got my first job some years back, the value of naira at the time was very, very strong. And as little as I was earning then, it was much more than enough for me. Compared to where the country is today. But how do we navigate all of this? It doesn't seem that government understand the plight of the people.
Yes, I want to, yes, that is the most obvious thing. But since I'm not in the inner cycle, I wouldn't be so sure. Maybe they do. Maybe they are also doing their best. Maybe there are other constraints that we don't know. Or how would we know if you don't put it out there for us to brainstorm together? Now, apart from the fact that the value of the allocation you are giving to these people has been seriously degraded, we also have inefficiency within our economic system. Where do this money go, even if it's 10 kobo? Where does it go? If you look at the budget, for many states, you will see that their all the spending that are not on capital project, that are not on value yielding project, usually take more than 50%. And if that happens, what do you think will happen to the economy? And most of this money fly away to other countries. As it comes in, it gets converted into dollar for foreign trips, foreign relaxation, foreign treatment, and all of these things. People just coming up with anything they can come up with just to take money from the system. So these inefficiencies are the problem. I heard the president say the other time that we have shared money to the governor, monitor this fund. And people are asking, Mr. President, sir, how do we monitor the governor? Are we going to lay siege at our government houses and say, Mr. Governor, let's see the bag of money. Show us how you are spending it. They can't do it. They don't have the power to do that. They don't
It
have
is not within
the mechanism
it is not within
to do
the
that.
people's right to do it. The people have representatives at the state assemblies who should oversight all the ministries within the state.
Exactly.
But what we have we are having is the state assembly or even the state judiciary that is practically in the pocket of governors. They barely question the governor's profligacy. They don't question the expenditures of the state.
You see, I don't want us to turn this conversation to a constitutional review anyway. But I don't sympathize with the president also because the Constitution doesn't give the president tools with which he can whip governors into line. Because governors are vis-a-vis the CEO of their own states too. The president cannot punish a governor, cannot coerce a governor to buy into his own policy.
But he can,
However,
he can suspend the governor.
Well, I'm not a legal expert too. Well, now, but the other part is
there's this very important question that I want you to speak to. Okay. If government, this is a very critical one, if government really want to raise more revenue from especially the oil sector, which is very, very key, why should it not, focus on accountability, issues about enforcing fiscal discipline, and of course block some leakages, especially with our big, the big money bag, talking about the NNPC. If you compare NNPC to the like of Petrobras, Saudi Aramco, they are almost in the same category in terms of rank. But in terms of value that these companies offer, NNPC is way, way below. Why are we, I mean, looking at this NNPC and we don't see, it doesn't seem that government is serious, I mean, to, I don't know, maybe we should, audit that enterprise.
I understand your challenge.
It is very difficult.
In conveying what you feel inside. Now, look, inefficiency in our system, both from the core public sectors to public enterprises. And this is caused by the level of politicking and the depth of politicking in our system. In other climes,
at the expense of the larger economy,
yes,
at the expense of the people.
Yes. In other economy where you see these things work, these mechanisms are set in place to run parallel of the government. Where you have a politician appointing the head of public enterprises, politics will enter into it. A public enterprise should be built such that, should be designed such that it's run parallel of whoever is in government. So a president should not be appointing the MD of the NNPC, for instance. Why do I say this? It's not that it's a bad thing, but if a president is doing that, a level of politicking will come into it. It is no longer the best person, but the most political, sagacious person that gets to be the MD. And then we allow politics to filter into every aspect of what we do. The NNPC will recruit people based on suggestion by politicians. So this person gets into the office and says, Oga, you cannot talk to me, you are just a figurehead here. The person that brought me is bigger than the person that put you there. And then we begin to use this thing to trade political favors for the next elections. So what do you expect? At the end of the day, you have people who are in this organization who don't even care or know anything about how to run their department or unit in this organization, but they have to be there. And the people who know needs to shut up so that this set of people will not be embarrassed. So this is what is happening. It is the corruption which is the biggest monster that is disturbing our economy, that have crippled into all of this. If you bring efficiencies to our system, both public and private, the revenue we will generate will be more than anything we have ever imagined. And we will make more progress in 2 years than we have made in the entire lifespan since we gained independence.
Indeed, a lot needs to be done there. But finally, before we wrap up, I want to ask you about the controversies going on at the NNPC. Last week, it was the NNPC GCO was allegedly abducted by the EFCC and DSS. It was later we saw a statement, a confirmed statement, which we saw online, confirming that the NNPC boss did resign by himself, and only yesterday we were told that he was cited at the office and he was already even giving instructions, and the president also came out to say the NNPC boss is still there and is still in charge. What is responsible for this kind of controversy at the peak of one of the country's energy giants? Why are we having this kind of controversy, especially with regards to the leadership? We just left one leadership which allegedly is under investigation, and we're still having one that is barely 5 months in office, also going through another controversy.
You know, we mentioned this problem earlier, where we say too much politicking in our public enterprises. That is what you are seeing there. People, when you get to that position, it is always some people who have suggested you to get there. And now you are there, these some people needs you to pay back in kind. And once you don't play their game, it is most likely that they will orchestrate for you to be removed. A way of saying, we put you there. You need to do what we want. So your own expertise doesn't get to come to bear. So a lot of things begin to happen. And of course, in order to save face, sometimes it's not everything that happens that the media hears. You know, we try to give the media, what the media needs to know, or something that will occupy the people while the real thing is being taken care of. I know these squabbles will always happen. It's not only in Nigeria, it happens elsewhere and all of that. It's just that the way and manner we treat ours when it happens is the reason why it keeps happening and also changing form from bad to worse. We if we are interested in brand and branding, we will never allow this kind of news to come off our Apex Energy company. By the way, I heard the NNPCL was even preparing to go to the market to raise money.
That was when under the last leadership.
Yes.
But now what we heard from the new leadership is that we cannot go to the markets until 2028.
Well, I may not be able to say that is irrational, because for you to go to the market simply means you're going to tell somebody, bring your money. I'm going to use it to do business, and I'm going to give you something in return.
All right, perhaps.
And if my books are not in...
Absolutely.
Who is going to put money
there? They need to clean their books because
so
they are going public. They, to get on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, they need to clean their books. Because investors who are interested in the company will indeed want to see something that is clean before they can indeed put their money. Thank you so much. We've seen Agaba, economic analyst. We appreciate your contributions indeed on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akogu.